now the rice that has been half boiled there is now being portioned into the biryani eggs. There's some that went into the mutton, some that went into the chicken akhni. Now the biryani is going to rest. There's no fire there, but those charcoal embers are hot. I can feel that searing heat. So well, one of the deg has just opened.
Mutton has.
Mutton biryani. I think to me this is the prettiest sight in the kitchen.
Yes, sir.
जब वो biryani का घूंघट उठता है. हाँ? And now you can see some of that mutton finally emerge. Well, one niwala now with the rice and the meat. The texture of the meat almost mimics that of the rice. जितना नरमी राइस में है, उतनी ही नरमी उस मटन में है. नहीं? Delicious. Namaskara folks, this is Kripal Amanna Gourmet on the road and you're watching Food Lovers TV. Well, it's been a while since I've caught the making of a biryani on the episode and an iconic biryani at that.
We are in Shivaji Nagar at Taj Hotel, an eatery that goes back to 1935 and has endured the passage of time on the strength of its most popular biryani, and that too a wood-fired biryani.
So let's go in and taste the biryani, but before we get to the table, also watch how it all comes together. Let's go. Namaskara.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much
Welcome.
for inviting me.
Pleasure to have you with us, sir.
Actually, I
Our
invited
honor.
myself and I said I have to catch the making of your biryani.
Thank you, sir. It's our honor, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm with Mr. Saad, who's the third generation.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
And this young man? Fourth generation. And what's your name?
Hamad.
Hamad.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Pleasure to meet you, Hamad.
Hello, sir. Fuzail. My younger brother, sir.
Your name is?
Fuzail.
Fuzail. Fantastic. So well, we are here at the iconic Taj Hotel, an establishment that goes back to 1935.
Yes, sir.
And I'm told 1935 is the official year, but
Yes, sir. It could be earlier also.
really,
My
okay.
father says it's pretty before that.
Much before that.
Yes, probably late 20s maybe.
Late 20s. So officially, well, they're in the 89th year of operation, but unofficially, this is
Yes.
perhaps an eatery that is nearing a century or perhaps has quietly surpassed a century also. Huh? And I think that's the nature of eateries like these. They go about their work quietly. There's no pomp, no grandeur. It's the food that they serve and the happy customers that they've been serving for decades on end, the ones who go out and endorse
Yes, sir.
what you do,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So of course, as soon as you come here, you see the mutton biryani family pack, huh? So is the biryani your most popular item?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
That's the number one selling item.
Number one
Yes.
selling item. And has the biryani been served right from day one?
Yes, sir. There was no chicken in the menu.
Oh, there's no chicken in the menu. Now you know they're serious about their biryani. Okay. So it was only mutton.
Only mutton.
Only mutton,
Only
chops,
mutton.
and biryani, everything, all the dishes were mutton dishes.
So when did chicken come on the menu?
A little later, sir. It started with the nati,
Nati koli.
chicken. Nati koli. It started with chicken kebab that is very popular in and around Bangalore. You know?
Okay.
So the oil fried one, and then the nati koli gravy.
So that's how then chicken
Yes.
started coming in. Today,
Yes.
of course, I'm sure you have plenty of chicken.
Chicken dominates.
Chicken dominates.
Yes,
What about the biryani?
But biryani, mutton is the number one seller.
Mutton is the number one. So for let's say for 10 plates of mutton biryani, how many plates of chicken biryani?
6.
6. All right, fantastic. So speaking of the biryani, like they say, ಬಾಯಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. My mouth is watering. I've seen this poster as well. I think it's time to go in
Absolutely.
and watch the coming together of this very fabled Taj Biryani. Huh? I can see the wood that is lining up the biryani area. So this is a wood-fired biryani.
Yes, sir, wood fired biryani.
Right from
Right from day one,
1935.
yes.
Tab se.
So building was built in 90, but before that there was another structure.
How did the name Taj come about?
It was inspired by the Taj Mahal.
Okay.
In fact, I haven't seen, but my father tells me that in the old Taj Hotel there was a big backdrop of Taj Mahal.
Okay.
So I think my grandfather was inspired by Taj Mahal and hence the name Taj.
And your grandfather's name?
Abdur Rahman.
Mr. Abdur Rahman.
Yes, he was popularly known as Chichaba.
So Chichaba, they also have an eatery, a restaurant called Chichabas Taj
Chichabas Taj, yes.
in Fraser Town.
Yes, sir.
In fact, we did a very quick episode. So if you haven't caught that yet, I'm going to place a link in the description below. And then your father.
Yes, sir, my father.
And what's your father's name?
My father's name is Anisur Rahman. My grandfather passed away when he was in 8th standard. So nobody to look after the business and my father didn't even get to complete his education and hence he joined the business ever since. Sir.
Oh, and how long have you been in the business?
So from 2003, sir.
Are you also beginning to make the biryani here? Yes. Huh? You have missed school today. Huh? To be here and meet us. And of course, I said, won't the teacher be cross? He said, well, we can send some biryani. That's a good thing when you know you've got some great biryani happening here. So tell me more about this biryani. What makes it special?
So I think one is the quality of meat.
Okay.
And two, of course, the firewood, I think, gives it that aroma and the flavor adds to that, sir.
Well, going by the number of degs that I see here, and of course the fact that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fire pits there. So I'm sure there's plenty of biryani coming out of here.
Yes, sir. Mutton we do about 200 kgs a day.
200 kilos a day.
Yes. And biryani is only for lunch, served only for lunch over here, sir.
Oh, why is that?
It's been the norm ever since, sir.
Yeah?
Yeah, right from the time of my grandfather, I think. At Fraser Town, we do serve biryani in the night, but over here it's only for lunch.
So, of course, now we're going to watch the making of the akhni,
Yes.
the most important part of the biryani from scratch. But I'm told you already have some biryani that's ready.
Yes, sir. The first batch is ready.
The first batch is ready.
Yes.
So I think before we watch the coming together of the akhni, let's go and take a look. Let's go and meet the biryani that has already emerged from that wood-fired stove here. Let's go.
Sure, sir.
So well, one of the deg has just opened.
Mutton has
Mutton biryani. And what is this?
chicken.
The chicken biryani. I think to me this is the prettiest sight in the kitchen. हाँ?
Yes, sir.
जब वो बिरयानी का घूंघट उठता है, हाँ? And you watch that steam gently rise from that biryani deg. I can smell the aroma.
Yes, sir.
So the rice that you use in this biryani
Zirak sambar.
is Zira sambar
Yes.
rice. So right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning.
So that's the mutton, this is the chicken. So is there a difference in the masala in the akhni?
No, the masala is pretty much the same, sir. for
Okay.
that. But cooking time, I think, considering chicken cooks faster,
Huh.
so just the time. But the masala is
The
pretty much the
masala
same.
is the same. So the color that I see here is from the akhni.
Yes, sir. And we add a little bit of saffron color also to that.
With the ghee, is it?
Yeah, with the ghee. Yes.
At
sir.
the end.
Yes, sir. While
Wonderful.
giving dum.
Wonderful. I love the aroma, that gentle aroma, and I think that's a character also of a good jeera sambar rice,
Yes, sir.
right? Where does this rice come from?
So now it comes from Bengal, sir.
From Bardwan.
Yes, sir.
That's typically, so although the biryanis are made here, but I think most of the quality rice that I've seen iconic biryanis being made of, they come from Bengal.
Yes, sir.
That biryani is gently being awakened. Wonderful. And now you can see some of that mutton finally emerged. How many kilos of meat will be there in this?
So this is 15 kilos, sir, and 15 kilos of rice.
Of rice, wonderful. I can see there's a fair bit of tomato that goes into your
Yes,
biryani. And this biryani is the Shaadi ka biryani,
Shaadi
right?
ki biryani, yes.
Which is made in the paki akhni because you cook the akhni.
Yes, we
first.
cook the akhni first.
So this is a biryani which is also lovingly referred to as a Shaadi ka biryani because if you go to a good Muslim wedding, if you go to any Muslim wedding actually,
Yes.
you will find a good biryani. And वहाँ पे भी wood fire पे बनाते
हाँ,
हैं.
wood fire में ही.
I can also see plenty of green chilies
Yes,
that
sir.
also go into the making of the biryani. And this is what, sheep?
Yeah, sir, sheep.
So is it like a male sheep?
Yeah, females नहीं use करते हैं.
Male sheep use करते हैं. उसका किलो weight क्या होगा?
Sir, about 8 to 9 kilos.
8 to 9 kilos of the animal.
Yes.
मुंह में पानी आ रहा है. You know, you can imagine, I was already salivating when I was out at the restaurant just thinking of the biryani, but out here watching that biryani, those moist pieces of meat with a little bit of the steam wafting out from the deg. थोड़ी सी क्या बोलते हैं, दिल में हलचल मच रही है.
बिल्कुल sir.
Of course, you can see the chicken. This is the broiler chicken, no?
Yes, sir.
I can see plenty of the masala find its way to the top. And this is what we in Bengaluru know as the old Bengaluru biryani, right?
Correct.
The Shaadi ka biryani. So it's a very simple sort of a biryani.
Yes, sir. It's a very simple process also.
Okay.
Unlike, like you said, the Hyderabadi biryani, which is, has layers and layers. It's a very simple thing. You heat the oil, put the onions, get them to brown, put the meat, get the masalas, and then you start to cook the akhni. While it's cooking, you parboil the rice, mix it, and then give it the dum, sir.
Okay. So basically, unlike let's say a Hyderabadi biryani, which is made the kachi akhni style,
Yes.
which is where the meat is marinated and then goes at the bottom of the deg with all the spices, with all the
Right.
masala, with all the brista, and then of course the parboiled rice is layered on top, and then that is cooked raw. Whereas this is a paki akhni style,
Yes.
where the akhni is first made, the meat is cooked in the akhni, and then the rice is layered on top.
Yes, sir.
So that is one of the differences that you find. But also, I think in terms of the complexity of spices, Hyderabadi biryani, there's a lot more spices
Yes,
going
sir.
in, and therefore it's also a biryani that probably feels a little more, for want of a better word, heavier
Heavy,
on the
yes.
palate. Whereas this is a
Yes.
lighter kind of a
So,
biryani.
and you don't feel that afterburn or anything after you eat this also.
फैंटास्टिक. और यहाँ पे तो बस लंच पे ही मिलेगा, तो पूरा दिन है आपके पास वो बिरयानी को पचाने को. Is that the right word? Basically, for the biryani to digest. Well, if they offer you some biryani, soon after that biryani is emerged from them, never say no. And especially if it happens to be a mutton biryani. Bismillah. Some nali there, and that piece of meat has almost slid off the bone. I think we'll go back to the rice. I can see flecks of tomato in there. It's a biryani, but it's very mellow.
Yes, sir.
Very mellow in its aromas. The biryani is very mellow in its flavors. I taste a bit of the slightly salty edge that also comes from the fat. I'm also tasting somewhere in there a bit of the hint of the garlic, and at the back of the throat, a little bit of the spicy warmth that perhaps comes from some red chili powder that
Yes,
goes
sir.
into it. And then you have these plum slivers of tomato. You have the tart sweetness of the tomato that you're tasting. डाल दिया, almost गल गया. It's as soft as that. Well, one niwala now with the rice and the meat. The texture of the meat almost mimics that of the rice. जितना नरमी राइस में है, उतनी ही नरमी उस मटन में है. नहीं? Delicious. But having tasted this, I'm now eager to go to the fire and watch the coming together of that very special Taj Hotel Biryani. Sunflower oil. 4 kilos. So 4 kilos of oil for 15 kilos of
15
meat.
kilos of meat.
And 15 kilos of rice.
Rice.
So how many portions will you get out of this? कितने portion
So
निकलेंगे
for
इसमें?
every kilo, 6 portions, sir.
Every kilo 6 portions.
Rice quantity बढ़ जाता है, sir.
हाँ.
And people ask here for masala khushka also.
मसाला खुशका.
So that's part of the biryani.
इसमें 90 बिरयानी निकलेंगे.
हाँ.
90 में. हाँ?
मटन के लिए 5 किलो, चिकन के लिए 4 किलो।
चिकन के लिए 4 kilos. अच्छा वो मटन वाला है. This is what a
Copper,
copper
sir.
vessel. So this is a aluminium.
Aluminum, yes.
हाँ, so मटन बस कॉपर की हंडी में
हाँ.
बनता है.
हाँ.
Wonderful. अब क्या जा रहा है?
गरम मसाला।
गरम मसाले. So there's some cinnamon, some cardamom, some cloves. ये हाथ से जाता है. Whatever अंदाज होता है उनको. And of course plenty of onion going in. Green chilies, okay. So the flavors come from the onion. That
Yes.
is the most important
Yes.
base of your masala.
Now you put it on heat until the onions caramelize, become brown.
So it's almost like a brishta.
Brishta, yes.
हाँ तो brishta में वो सुखाओगे, यहाँ पे नहीं सुखाओगे.
हाँ, correct.
Wonderful. तो कौन कौन बिरयानी बनाता है यहाँ पे?
These three guys. sir.
मोहम्मद बिलाल. So they're the biryani masters. बिलाल खान, अफसर खान, नूर खान. तो कितने साल से बिरयानी बना रहे हो आप लोग?
हमें 20 साल से कर रहे हैं।
20 साल से काम कर रहे हैं. तो मतलब there's about 60 years of experience of making the biryani, and of course needless to say this eatery goes back on paper 89 years but perhaps even a century. So imagine the skill, the experience that goes into making a biryani day in day out. So every day it's open.
Yes, sir, every day.
365 days.
365 days.
So 365 days, हर दिन में कितने टेक निकालते हो? 6 हांडी. So 365 into 6.
संडे दिन 8 हंडी।
8 handi. So मतलब 2,200 handis in a year. And you multiply that now by about 100 years. So basically, they probably must have produced over 250,000 handis of biryani in
Yes,
their...
sir.
Do you feel
Yes,
good
sir.
when you hear that?
Of
When
course,
you
sir.
consider that, that is the legacy, right?
And it's continuing.
And it's continuing. I love his confidence. So the legacy of Chichaba, who began this even before 1935, is certainly in good hands, even down the generations. Fantastic. So this ghee rice is also very popular.
Yes, sir. After the biryani, I think our ghee rice, kebab and sheikh are the next best sellers.
Ghee rice, kebab and seekh.
Mutton sheikh.
Also tells you what are the dishes that you should probably be tasting here. The onions are slowly browning. So you just allow the onions to cook in that oil.
Yes.
So I noticed that यहाँ पे the spice component, the chilies go right in the beginning with the
Yes.
onions.
Yes. Then the red chili powder goes.
And the red chili
later.
powder
Yes.
goes later.
Yes.
That also gives color.
Yes. I've kept something that we don't sell.
Okay.
It's the biryani akhni that I've kept for you to taste.
Oh.
Have you ever tasted that, sir?
No.
You should try it, sir.
Yeah.
On every Eid, normally that's our breakfast.
On biryani akhni. मतलब जो biryani meat का
Without rice.
हाँ, without rice.
Without rice.
Without
Yes.
rice.
Ah. So that will also be very
Very,
potent.
very rich, sir.
Very, very
Very
rich.
heavy,
Ah.
but very tasty.
Very tasty. I'm always game to try good food. So now the rice is getting
Rice is washed, sir. It's washed and then put into boiling water.
in the boiling water. So that again is a copper vessel.
Yes.
So the mutton biryani and the rice are made in copper vessels.
Yes, sir.
Well, the rice has been washed and so is the meat.
Yes, sir.
So when I look at the meat, every piece has some layer of fat.
Yes, sir.
That is important for flavor.
Yes, sir. and brings that richness I feel to the biryani.
To the
I think.
biryani.
Yeah, that character to the biryani. I think.
Character to the biryani. Now, of course, is the aroma of the fried onions, and this is the chili powder. Garlic went in, and then some red chili powder.
Red chili powder.
Well, there was a flurry of activity a few moments ago. The onions were browned nice, and then in went the garlic,
Garlic paste.
and then went in the chili powder.
Yes, sir.
And in the case of the mutton
was added.
the mutton was added, followed
some
by
yogurt.
and some yogurt.
Yes.
ये क्या है? Adrak and salt. So is there a ratio that you have in terms of what goes in
For-
what proportion?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There is, yes.
And that of course is a family recipe.
Yes, sir.
There's some coriander too that is going in.
Mint and coriander.
Oh, mint and coriander. So tell me, when it comes to a biryani, a Shaadi ka biryani that is made, I'm sure there are many cooks who make this biryani,
Yes, sir.
because especially caterers and at wedding
Yes, sir.
functions.
Yes, sir.
So is your biryani different from others? Will there be some things that you do that others may not do, or will they be doing some things that you may not do?
Sir, more or less,
Okay.
the wedding biryani is very slight difference, sir. Very slight difference. I think, like I said, one depends on the quality of meat.
Quality of meat.
Yes, and we make sure that we procure fresh meat only.
Okay.
We don't stock anything, sir.
Oh, you don't stock
We
anything.
don't stock anything.
So let's say the biryani that is made today,
Yes, sir.
the meat comes in the morning,
Yeah, meat comes in the morning.
and your restaurant opens at 11 o'clock.
It's open at 7:30, sir.
Ah.
So we have paya, keema,
Okay.
and very minimalistic breakfast.
Breakfast items.
Yeah, yeah.
So the biryani?
Biryani starts at 11.
Biryani service
Yes.
starts at 11 o'clock. So unlike other biryanis,
Yes.
there's a lot of garam masala that can sometimes mask fresh
Yes.
ingredients. Here
Yes.
there is not much.
No, not much, sir.
So I think in this biryani, the importance of the freshness of the ingredients
Yes.
plays a critical role.
Yes, true, sir.
Because from whatever I've seen, the spices is only, I've seen the cinnamon going in, I've seen some cloves going
Clove.
in, and the cardamom.
Yes.
There's no the garam masala.
No,
So even at the end when this finishing, there's no garam masala.
no, sir.
So this is a biryani where you typically will taste, if you have a keen palate, it's basically you can actually play a game where you can detect all the various nuances of the ingredients that have gone in, because there's no masala blend
Yes.
as such
Yes.
that goes into this.
The chilies, used to dry it at home,
Ah.
make the powder from it. Ghee from the malai. We used to make it at home, sir.
used to make it at home.
Yes, sir.
But of course today the scale of what you do is,
Yes, sir. Much higher.
so you probably need a dairy farm if you have to make the ghee at home. Huh? But how do you standardize? I mean, so for example, when you have a journey of so many decades,
sir.
because I'm sure people come here and they say, okay, fine, I've been tasting the biryani here for the last 30, 40 years.
Yes.
I'm sure there'll be some, because ingredients change, no?
Yes, sir.
The quality of the
Yes,
milk
sir.
that you get
Yes,
today,
sir.
as opposed to, let's say, the milk that you got 30 years ago.
Yes, sir, it's
And
not
therefore the curd from
Sir,
that.
even the rice.
Huh.
I mean, my father tells me the rice used to be so aromatic, not so much anymore.
So I guess you do the best that you can
Yes.
with the best ingredients that you can procure at this
Yes,
point
sir.
in time. That's all that you
Yes,
can
sir.
do.
I remember the price, sir.
Ah,
The mutton biryani was, I think, about 60 rupees.
60 rupees. This was what, 20 years ago?
Yes, sir. More than that. I
More
think.
than that. And what about the flavor of the biryani then and now?
Sir, flavor more or less the same, sir.
Okay.
Flavor more or less the same.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that's what I remember most from it. as a kid, I never used to enjoy eating biryani so
Really?
much. Really. Not. I've acquired that taste over.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what is your favorite food?
So now, right now, you give me this 3 times a day, I can eat this.
But यहाँ पे बस lunch के लिए मिलता है. I think that's why perhaps they do the biryani only once. नहीं तो 7 मियाँ यहाँ पे 3 बार ढेरा लगा देंगे, ढेरा बिठा देंगे बिरयानी के लिए. हाँ? I can see that they have taken all the wood.
Yeah, the fire is reduced.
It's
Yeah.
getting ready for dum.
Rice is already half boiled.
The rice is half boiled.
Yes. And
Okay.
then you put it in there for dum so that it doesn't burn the rice.
So over the last 10 minutes they have sealed that mutton there, and now that mutton has been simmering inside.
Yes.
And now of course the fire is being reduced, the heat is being reduced from the bottom in preparation for the rice, which is parboiling right next to the mutton for it to go in.
अभी इसमें हमें आग नहीं डाले, चावल डालने पर आग डालेगा.
फिर से आग डालोगे.
हाँ, आग डाल के राउंड आग डाल के दम लगाता. मटन दम के लिए छोड़ा है.
Mutton dum के लिए छोड़ा है. So he says now that mutton is cooking on dum, is cooking in the steam that is trapped in that vessel, and therefore he has reduced the fire at the bottom. But now once the rice goes in,
हाँ,
he will then again raise the temperature of that deg. So unlike a gas where you can turn the temperature low, you can switch it off, turn it on at the turn of a knob, whereas out here there's a lot of painstaking heavy work that goes in to regulate the temperature, and that's so important to get the perfect biryani. There's a lot of activity at the back, the rice is getting washed, the meat is getting washed, there's a kitchen that's operational there, and within that biryani is being made. So now that chicken is going into the yakni. The mutton went in 20 मिनट पहले हो गया ना mutton.
नमक डाल रहे हैं.
अच्छा
For the rice.
चावल के लिए.
For the rice.
Ah. Well, that rice has been washed twice or thrice here, and I like the way he's gathering every grain of the rice into that tokri, which of course naturally drains the starch water as he places it in the deg. So it's a long process. the
It's a long
cooking.
process, yes.
So all in all, I think a good biryani will take about a little over an hour.
A little over an hour. Yes.
Like they say, good things come to those who wait. So if you want to watch the making of a biryani, well, we'll have to have some patience. Although I've already tasted a bit of that biryani, I think that was a mistake. Because ab mera, in my mind, that biryani is still running. So I'm actually feeling a little impatient because I want to finish this quickly and get to the restaurant and taste some of that biryani. Aram se. Huh? It's almost cooked, right, the meat?
Almost, sir.
I can
Not
see.
fully done. Yes. Yes.
I can see the fat from the meat has rendered into that akni,
Yes.
and also of course the oils, and has floated to the top, carrying with it all the flavors of all the ingredients that
Yes.
have gone in. So this meat would be now what, 70% cooked?
Yes, 70% cooked.
I love the manner in which it's simmering quite gently because there's no heat at the bottom now. So it's just cooking in the residual heat that is trapped in that copper vessel. And now the rice that has been half boiled there is now being portioned into the biryani eggs. There's some that went into the mutton, some that went into the chicken akni. I'm watching them scoop the rice out of that big vessel there. There's embers of charcoal right at their feet. There's so much effort that goes into making a traditional biryani like this. When we are tasting it, we don't think about it too much. But this is back-breaking work. And there's multiple batches of the biryani because this is what goes to the other restaurant.
Yes, sir.
At to Chichabas by Taj. So even when you're eating a biryani at Chichabas, although you're eating it there on Road,
Yes, sir.
but the biryani is made here, albeit in smaller handis. What is that? Some
Saffron water.
saffron water.
Yes, sir. And we do add a little bit of color, sir.
क्या है ये?
Saffron milk.
So there's some milk with saffron that's now being sprinkled atop that rice just before the biryani will be sealed for dum. मीट नीचे का नीचे ही रहता है, ज़्यादा मिक्स नहीं करते हो?
नहीं.
ज़्यादा मिक्स नको? So I like the way in which he's gently mixing the rice, just incorporating a bit of the color of the akhni, a bit of the saffron.
Red color, white color, red color.
White color, red color.
Yellow color.
And the yellow color. So he's not really stirring the meat too much. आप नीचे जो मटन है उसको डिस्टर्ब नहीं कर रहे हो, बस थोड़ा सा हल्का सा राइस पे चला रहे हो टू ब्रिंग सम ऑफ द कलर्स आउट. सो लास्ट में घी जाएगा. So the finishing touch after the saffron is some tuppa. Nandini tuppa. That mutton biryani has been drenched in all that tuppa. इसको आपने थोड़ा ज़्यादा डाला, मैं भी ज़्यादा डालता. मटन है ना?
दोनों डाला ना, पोंछ के डाल दिया लाइट.
पोंछ के डाल दिया. Well, I'm sure he cooks both of them, the chicken and the mutton, with his heart. But the mutton will do, or the mutton will convey the flavor that it has to. Now the biryani is going to rest. I can feel the heat that's emanating. There's no fire there, but those charcoal embers are hot. I can feel that searing heat. So they've dispersed the charcoal at the bottom of the biryani deg and also around it. So that biryani will cook in the steam that's trapped in the deg and also with all the heat that's almost engulfing it. I'm finding it very difficult to stand here with the heat, but there's some more charcoal that's gone on top of the deg too. अच्छा अभी निकाल रहे हो? हो गया? ओह, तो भाप आ रहा है तो हो गया? Oh, wonderful. So he says because there's some steam escaping from that lid, that biryani is done. अफसर खान ने मुझे आज कुछ नया सिखाया. बोला कि भाप आएगा मतलब बिरयानी रेडी. चिकन में आया है, मटन में आया नहीं है अब तक. Fantastic. There's at least a 6 feet distance between me and the urns, but believe me, it's supremely hot. I think ये चारकोल से टेम्परेचर ज़्यादा बढ़ता है. आग से उतना नहीं लगता है, इससे ज़्यादा लगता है. And now I think there's some wisps of steam that are emanating also from the mutton handi. So the mutton ready है अभी. Fantastic. And therefore the charcoal has been removed from the bottom of that fire pit.
और 10 मिनट छोड़ने का है, 10-15 मिनट.
तो भाप आने के बाद आपने अंगार काढ़ा. So after the steam escapes the vessel, he says you remove the charcoal embers and then you allow it for 20 minutes. So 20 मिनट वैसे ही कुक होगा. फिर हल्लू ओपन करने का. I'm waiting to taste that biryani. हमको यहाँ पे I think I came here, we entered the kitchen maybe around 12 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
And now it's about 1:25. We've patiently watched the coming together of the biryani. I'm sure when we taste it, it's going to be something else altogether. It's 20 minutes since our last shot, and I can also see that the temperature here has visibly
Cool down.
cooled down. Yes. So I think the biryanis have absorbed all that heat, all that vigor in terms of temperature. और ready है?
रेडी है
मुंह दिखाई के लिए.
नहीं थे रेडी हो
Ready हो गया? Fantastic. I think we'll now watch the opening of that biryani. गरम नहीं है वो? तो कैसे खोलोगे? ओह! Ah. रेडी है? कैसे पता लगता है आपको? एक तो उस
चावल दिखाई देता नहीं, कच्चा रहता तो चावल दिखाई देता हूँ.
एंड नाउ दैट चिकन बिरयानी देख तू. रेडी है ये भी? तो पकने के बाद पूरा नहीं दिखता है, कच्चा रहता है तो दाना दाना दिखता है. So I think what he means is that when it's cooked it all comes together, but when it's kacha it's very disparate. I'm just assuming that's what Afsar Khan means. I've merely watched the making of the biryani and I'm drenched in sweat. You can imagine the tough conditions that cooks have to endure when they're making that delicious wood-fired biryani. But anyways, having seen the coming together of the biryani from the start to the finish, I think it's time to head to the dining area and taste the delicious fruits of our toil. Not my toil, but the toil of the chefs who worked so hard to put this together. Let's go. What is that?
This is akhni.
That's your keema.
This is called Taj Parota, sir.
Well, I think the eatery has gone a bit overboard, and I'm going to do my best to preserve my appetite for that biryani. Sallu's butter chicken. Mutton biryani.
Yes, brinjal curry, right? Chicken biryani.
Chicken biryani. Fantastic. Well, this is the reason why we are here at the Taj Hotel in Shivaji Nagar today. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page. You could pledge a nominal sum and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and leave a comment below. Happy eating.